growing up in high school, I was in a really good journalism program. I hosted my own television show. And when I went to college, I was like, I want to be an anchor one day. I want to be that person, you know, maybe in New York one day on the television screen. And when I got to college, I hated it. I was like, this isn't for me. It was real competitive. I just was like, I'm not having the teacher like I did in high school that had all that spirit, and you know, it wasn't the same. In fact, one teacher even told me he saw no potential in me at all. And with that, I was like, well, Lord, I came all the way here from Jersey to Maryland. Why am I here? You know what I'm saying? You have all these questions going through your head. And so for an elective course with college, fulfilling requirements, I was like, oh, let me just take a meteorology class. Let me just see what happens if I take this class. And when I took it, I fell in love with it because, you know, learning about lightning and the wind and everything and the math and how it all incorporates together, I was like, okay, what if I, you know, do the meteorology and the journalism together? What if I do it? But I mean, it wasn't that easy. I mean, it's two completely different fields. I mean, with the meteorology, I'm going to physics class, calculus, and then and then I have to go shoot a story to finish my journalism. So I'm doing both. But to me, I was like, you know, I can handle it. But it was a very long process. And then right about my senior year, I said, okay, to apply for journalism jobs, they want to see a video. They want to see what you can do. They don't necessarily care about the science. You have the knowledge, but can you go in front of a green screen and practice? And because my school didn't already have a broadcast meteorology program and I was sort of making it work, there was nothing in place for me to practice. So I was sitting in my apartment kind of bummed and kind of like, well, what could I do? And so I said, well, I didn't say, God gave me this idea, like, Monique, go to the fabric store and get some green cloth and put it up and just try it yourself. And I mean, I tell you, I actually did this. I can show you the video and the proof. I went to Joann's, the fabric store. I got some green fabric, put it up in my apartment kitchen. I just started practicing. And I mean, the video is terrible, but you can hear the kitchen in the background and the air conditioning turns on. But it was a start to something because I was able to show that video to my advisor in college. And he said, you know, Monique, I actually have this monitor that we don't use. And what if you go use that and start using that with the video? So I was able to put together a PowerPoint presentation and put it with the monitor screen. And I'd kind of click through, very similar to what you'd see, but on a television screen rather than a green screen. I was like, okay, I got this. So I showed it to my advisor again. And I said, what if I start a meteorology club? And so with that, I was able to start the first broadcast meteorology club at the University of Maryland. And so from then I was like, okay, I got this. I got the tools. I went to school. I got the degrees now. I have the proof that I can show you on the television screen. So let me apply to my jobs. You know, everyone says apply a couple months before you end so that you don't have to wait after you graduate. So I'm like, okay, I'm following the steps, right? I'm doing everything correctly. And so I'm applying to jobs and flying down to Mississippi, going to Virginia, even places in New York. Everyone's calling me and saying, hey, Monique, I'm kind of interested in what I see you doing. But then I graduate, I mean, months gone by, and I'm like, okay, no job yet. So what am I going to do? I'm like, Lord, I'm trusting what you're saying. I'm following everything everyone tells me. Do you ever been there before where you feel like you're doing everything? Like you applied to the job, you feel like you meet all the requirements. Why am I not getting it? And so I went home, back home in Jersey, and I'm just bummed. I'm like, I have 2 degrees. Why don't I have a job yet? I did everything I was supposed to do. Why didn't I have a job yet? And so I was like, really diving into my word at this point. I would wake up every single morning, do my devotional. I stopped even eating meat, and I would go on a run every single day and feeding myself with positive and gospel music. I grew up in the church all my life, but this was the time when I really, really started to feed myself with that gospel music. And so now 2 weeks gone by, and I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? So you know what? Let me just go get a job at a restaurant. I'll go be a host. So I'm going to work as a host at a restaurant, but I have 2 degrees and I have no job, right?
Tell the story.
But see, the crazy part about it is this. What does a host do? They make people feel comfortable. What else does the host do? They put you at ease. And no matter the demographic, right? Don't I do that when I do the weather? So what God was doing in that time, which me looking back now, I didn't realize, was he was giving me that last ingredient. Yeah, you have the knowledge. Yeah, you can go in front of the green screen, but you need to be able to connect with the people that you're talking to. And so you had to go to that restaurant, even though it was a little waiting season, it felt like a waiting season, but that was the last ingredient that you needed to get to this place where I want you to go. So I'm working at this restaurant for now a month, and I randomly get a call from my news director at the time here, and he's like, hey, can you be in Wilmington in 2 weeks? I'm like, I've never been there a day in my life. I don't have an apartment. I don't even know what Wilmington is, but let me go. So that's when I made my way here, and it was good starting out. Everything was good, and 2 months in, Hurricane Florence, right? And Hurricane Florence, whew, that right there was the teacher. The day before Hurricane Florence was September 14th. September 13th, I'm in my apartment packing up my things. And I mean, I'm packing up my things. Like I was folding up everything, putting it in boxes, put my TV down, cleared the mattress, cleared everything off the walls. I'm like, you know what? Hurricane Florence is supposed to be a major hurricane. We've seen how Hurricane Katrina pictures, we've seen what it looks like after. Even Hurricane Michael, which came a couple months after Florence, we saw what that did. That's what Florence was supposed to do. Florence was supposed to completely wipe out the Cape Fear. So I'm in my apartment packing myself up like, well, if I'm gonna preserve as much as I can. And as I'm folding, I was listening to Marvin Sapp's, he has his hand on me. And it kind of hit me because I'm like, Lord, can I even do this? Like, why did you send me here? I took the test and I felt like I had my degrees. Now I feel like I got the last ingredient because I worked at the restaurant. I finally got the job. But why would you send a storm right here in the place where I am? Why would you do that? Why? Right? And so I'm literally folding my clothes. I'm on the brinks of like, because my mom's calling me freaking out because she's back home looking at the pictures. And she's like, Monique, you know, you could come back home. It's okay. You can come back home. And I'm fighting with not even trying to pick up the phone to talk to her because I'm worried myself, but I don't want to be worried because I'm like, Lord, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? And so I was like, you know what, Monique? This is it. This is for you. You know, this is the test right here. I showed you everything. I taught you everything because right now, this is the time for you to shine. Everyone is watching you. And it was crazy because people were even emailing him, hey, Monique, I saw you. I'm out in Canada trying to check on my home. And the way Hurricane Florence transformed from being a major hurricane to a Category 1 is indescribable. And I've studied my science, okay? You know what I'm saying? The way for a storm to do that, the only explanation is God. The only explanation is God. Because what I tell you is that storm was going to wipe us out. I mean that. It was. And I mean, not saying that there was damage. And, you know, there's things that we have to go through. A lot of people have experienced a lot of things. But to this day, even about a month ago, I was in Walmart and someone came up to me and said, Monique, I love the way you explained how depending on what side of the hurricane we're on can impact us. And to see that people are still feeling the way I led that whole experience through Hurricane Florence is like a constant reminder from God that, Monique, I brought you here for this. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a long road and understanding that, but that's what I want to say when people read my bio. I'm like, it sounds good, but there was a lot to it before it led right there. And one thing I really, really want you guys to just repeat after me for this. So I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. But thank God I'm not where I used to be. Thank God I'm not where I used to be. I'm okay. I'm okay. And I'm on my way. And I'm on my way. I would say that every single morning. I would say that every single morning when I was in that season of waiting. So whether you're in that season of waiting currently or you're on the path of greatness currently as well, whatever, that is a wonderful phrase to just keep your mind focused on God and keep your mind focused on the right direction, because Lord knows I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. But I know he's done amazing things through this process, and I'm so happy that I've had the opportunity to come here and speak with you guys. Hopefully you guys took away something from it all.